Hey, this is Leo. This is my Cybertruck, and today we are going to change something in there. Well, it's probably intentional, but still, for us, for Cybertruck owners, it's a design flaw because it's pretty much unusable. You have it in your truck, but you never use it, and I'm talking about the rear view mirror.
While editing this video, I have a couple of words about it. While Hansshow sent me this product, my opinion is honest and my own, and while the affiliated link with a good discount is in the description down below, I want to state that this product is not ideal and it is not for everyone. Watch this review and decide by yourself. But don't tell me I didn't warn you. Second, I intentionally kept the part with the installation process because it was quite challenging. Removing it and showing it as a usual straightforward tutorial would be unfair to those interested in this product. I generally believe that this rear view mirror is a must-have accessory for the Cybertruck. It's a really good product, even not just as an accessory but also as a safety measure. But keep in mind that installation is very tedious and you should be aware about it. Third, the factors that added to the difficulty was my decision to install the camera on top of the truck, which I'll talk about later. I wanted to get an IM-like look, hiding all the wires and avoiding any damage. I checked other YouTubers installing this, and while there are some good reviews about this camera and the installation process, there are some YouTubers drilling, cutting, and even breaking parts of their Cybertrucks for the installation, intentionally. Honestly, it's not the brightest idea because it's possible to install it without any damage at all. So I tried to install without destroying anything functional in the truck, and only thing that I accidentally snapped was a plastic clip that I exchanged almost right away. And saying that, let's get back to the video.
This is the best view that you can get out of this rear view mirror. I opened my tunnel so you can see at least something, but the problem is that you never drive with your tunnel open because you consider this thing as inside space of your car. So if you close the tunnel, you will not see anything because the only thing that you will see is the blackest hole in the back of your truck. And honestly, when I watched the first reviews from the first Cybertruck owners, I thought that probably this problem is being exaggerated because of, I don't know, hype. And no, it is not. It is that bad because you never drive with your tunnel open, and if you open it, you carry something around, and if you carry something around, that something is blocking your rear view anyway, so it doesn't make any sense to keep it. Another use case, I thought, okay, probably I will keep it to check on my kids who are riding in my truck in the back. But the problem is that this rear view mirror is so small, the surface of it is so small that it's barely usable for that. And again, it's not ideal for that situation either. So the best solution is to remove it. But if you remove it, what would you change it with? And I think I have a good solution from Hansshow. It's an electronic rear view mirror that we are going to install. But before we install, let's check what is inside the box.
The mirror comes in a nice looking box. On the side you can find all the features that the mirror provides, such as an auto light sensor for auto brightness, full screen touch, which is basically a touch user interface, crash detect and record, which is nice and I don't find it really necessary here, highlight compensation, which is a way to mention HDR, and see-through rain and fog, which is questionable because of physics. But yes, it's a wide-angle camera. Inside you can find a couple of papers with some useful information such as QR codes for the installation manual and video, which is nice because you will need it. The mirror itself looks much larger than the Cybertruck's version. There are 3 cables coming out of it. One for the rear camera, one for the front camera, and one for power. 3 connectors are proprietary and look different from anything I've seen so far. The reason is this slot on the side of the mirror. The mirror comes with a pre-installed SD card where it stores video files. On the bottom you can find a power button, a speaker, and a light sensor. It comes with a set of necessary tools and cords in a Ziploc bag. The front camera is in a Ziploc bag, the rear camera is in a Ziploc bag, and there is a long data cable that you will need to spend some quality time with. And that's it. At this point I thought, okay, I'm ready for the installation. And oh boy, was I wrong.
Okay, I think we're ready. I have the box here. So before we start though, we need to remove the original OEM mirror. So let's do that. While I'm working, I decided to cover the screen with a towel, so I'll be safe if I drop something and it will not break my screen. Hopefully. To remove the mirror, I need this one. I think it's T20 or something like that.
To detach it, just pry it open and pry it open again. And here we go. Yeah, sorry. So this is the thing, and it looks like that. Remove that screw inside and keep it. It's important. You will need it later. I would recommend to use the original screw instead of the screw that Hansshow provides, as it's easier to work with because it's slightly longer.
Okay, so after you remove this thing, you will have this opening here, and you can close it by pushing this part back, and it will click in place and it will just look nice as it should be. But because we are going to install the Hansshow mirror, I need to remove also this part and this part in order to fish the wires through there to here and all the way to the back of the truck. So I have these two parts, and this one is easy to remove. This might be a little bit tricky. So for this one, it's kind of, you need to apply some strength, but carefully, because, well, mine is sitting very, very snug there. So it's impossible to, to do it with one hand. So I'll use both of my hands. Well, maybe if you are very, very strong, but still, I don't want to break anything, so I will use a pry tool on this one to open it, so like so, and I will help with my hands.
A few moments later.
It sits very, very snug in there, so help yourself with this thing. So the pry tool is definitely useful, so use it here to detach it from these pins, and you'll be fine. This one is relatively easy because you just grab it here and you just carefully detach it like so. Also be careful about this part because this is your GPS and you don't want to screw it up.
The next step is to take the cable that comes with the electronic mirror and connect it to the power. To do this, we need to disconnect these two white push-to-lock connectors and then connect that black cable in between.
Okay, so disconnecting these two is you gotta be very, very careful. I believe what we need to do is to install this one in here and this one in there. So we are almost there. I need to fish these three wires through this opening just right here. I'm not quite sure that you can see it, but just in the middle, just right here. And it's relatively easy, but well, I would say that you need somebody to help you out. Just three wires going in like so. To let me do that real quick and I'll continue the video. This wire is for the front camera and I'm not quite sure that I want to keep it. I think I will briefly install it and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I will remove it later. This one is for power and this one is for your rear camera. So I need to quickly zip tie everything. So okay, this is power and we will plug it in just right away. Like so. And we got the power. And this is nice. This is some progress.
Please set time.
I will later. Now it's time for the mount and it looks like so, and it's made out of aluminum, I believe, because before it was made out of plastic and people were complaining that they break and stuff, so they made out of aluminum, and all the new versions are coming with aluminum mounts. Very nice quality, by the way. I installed the mount and it's fairly easy. There is a screw, a hex screw going into this hole, and it should be installed in this position. So the mirror is facing you this way when it's installed. Okay, so it's a little bit of hell on the earth situation here with the cables. I'm being dramatic for sure, but I mean, I need to take care about them because you don't want these cables to go in front of this piece, which is a heat sink for your GPS, and I definitely would like to zip tie them, and I'm filming alone, so I think I will stop the video for now and I will show you the continuation of this crazy process, which is fun to do. I'll show you real quick my cable organization here. So a lot of zip ties, and I just put them to his side here this way, because it obviously has more space here than here. It looks not too bad. We'll see how it works.
2 hours later.
I tried everything. I tried to install this thing. It's not coming back together. Whatever I do, I need to reassemble everything around the wiring. I don't have light at all. I don't have any words. Whatever I do, it's not coming together. It is incredibly difficult. It's just not getting in. It's too many wires. So a quick update about all that you see in frame. Right now it's 7 p.m. I spent about 6 hours installing just this part here, and it's tedious, probably the most difficult experience of installing any product ever in my life. It is crazy difficult if you are not doing it on a full-time basis, which I am not. So the problem is that this piece here has a heatsink down here, and you shouldn't cover it. So you need to arrange your cables not to cover that thing. Otherwise, your GPS will be glitching or working improperly. So you don't want that. When you arrange your cables and put everything back together, because you need to make sure that cables are being put in a certain way, so the clips can be put back, right? So they click back and you start working with a screw, which is another layer of problems, because that screw is 45 degrees up and there is not enough of room to work with it. So it's like you need to find an angle and the position in your car, how you gonna work with that screw. And suddenly you realize that you arranged your wires improperly because the screw is not getting in, and it's everything is so tight. It's like it's such a headache. So I installed everything. I believe the most difficult part was today, because tomorrow I just need to fish the rear camera cable through my truck, just find a way and install it on top of the truck. I just checked it and it works perfectly well, and tomorrow we are going to install this bad boy, but today was freaking crazy. So if you are planning to buy this rear view electronic mirror, make sure that you have another pair of hands to help you out. It will be much easier, because installing this thing alone, oh my god. Anyway, see you tomorrow, which is going to be in a second for you. Okay, this is the morning of another day, and everything is better with coffee. So in a second I'll show you what the situation is. And the situation is here. So I have this cable and I have this part that I need to put back. And my order of thoughts is I'll try to put this cable inside. So I'll try to tackle it up here, and I'll put this thing here, and I'll put this cable in this opening up here, if you can see it. So let's try it out and see how it goes. Another thing that I almost forgot to mention is that I didn't install the front camera here, and this accessory comes with the front and the rear camera. The rear camera is basically your rear view mirror, and the front camera is for dash cam purposes. And I just don't think that it makes sense, because all Teslas have dash cams 360 degrees around your vehicles that film 24/7 if you want to, and well, it just doesn't make sense for me.
It's time to take that long cord, untie it, then carefully try to route the now longer cable through the upper trim that we previously removed. And it's a bit tricky as well.
Okay, so this piece here is a little bit challenging too, because you need to find a way how the wire will go through that and put it back together. So give me a couple of minutes, I'll put it back and I'll come back to you.
12 seconds later.
Yeah, I did it. So this piece was relatively easy. You need just to figure out how to put it in place and the wiring. And there is a groove looking like it was made for wiring, but in reality it was made for clips.
I'm talking about this part here. Usually people try to tuck the cable to the side of that white shape in the image, which in my case is black for some reason. What you need to do is carefully place the cable on one of these rails here. It seems uncomfortable, but trust me, this is a way. And this way you won't obstruct any of all these clips and pins that you can see in this image. If you do that, you'll be able to close the lid with no problem at all.
And for the rest of the wire, I just tackled it up here, and I will continue working its way up there with the pry tool that they provide. Okay, now I need to pull this thing down, and I've never done it before. Hopefully I won't break anything. There should be clips, a couple of clips here, and this trim, probably I can just run wire through this trim here. There we go. I ran the cable along this piece here, and instead of running it along this in here and going here this way, because it should come out here and go this way, and this way the wire will be visible for everyone sitting in the car, I decided to run it directly through the column. It's pretty easy. I would say probably it's even easier, because you just need to find the opening, and it's somewhere behind this speaker here, so you can just run your cable through the opening here, and it naturally goes down through this column. And you need to have some light and catch it from this opening here, so it will be sitting in there, and if you get it out of there, and just here.
The rest of this part is relatively simple. You just need to route your cable behind the weather sealing on the B-pillar, and initially it seemed like it was the best way. At least it was the simplest one. But I decided to make it a little bit more discreet, which obviously was a little bit more complicated, to ensure the cable was not visible at all. So I went to Home Depot, grabbed a fishing tape and ran it through the B-pillar itself. And I'll talk a bit later about it.
This is the end of the second day of this installation process. So it was 2 days straight I was trying to install this thing, and the second day is easier for sure, but you need to disassemble your whole truck in order to fish that wire properly so nobody can see it, and it's inside of the truck, not outside of the truck, so it's not interrupting the installation, and it's inside of the trim of the truck instead of being slightly outside how it's shown in the installation video. So probably do as they suggest, but I want it to be hidden completely, so this is my problem, not yours. But anyway, it's very, very difficult, and I mean, I'm exhausted really. So the second day, I lost my weekend. I'm at this point right now when I have my back insulation trim off my truck, and I ran the wire from there through the B-pillar, and it's inside of this piece. I'm not quite sure if you can see it, but let's try. So camera, I hope you're doing the job. Anyway, so it's coming out from here, from the corner. For now, I'm going to close it for the night, because I need this installation if we have some rain or anything. But tomorrow I will try to fish it through this part of the truck back here to the top trim of the bed of the truck, and I don't know how to do that yet. I will figure out tomorrow. For today I'm done, really exhausted. It's difficult. This is the fourth day. Yesterday I just took some rest because I was really devastated by installing this accessory in my particular truck, and I haven't had any experience with disassembling cars and such. So a couple of concerning things. The first I showed you previously, I routed the cable through here, and here we have a curtain airbag, and the cable is going directly underneath of that thing. Another thing, I kept the cable this way for now. Okay, it's here. Yeah, it's just coming out from this stream, and well, it is what it is. And the third thing is my biggest concern. Well, not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is safety for sure. So curtain airbag. So this piece is not coming out. The problem is it has two T30 screws, and it seems that they Loctite them for some reason. The problem is that one of those is completely messed up. Another one, the first one on the left, is still Loctite. And these are the screws that I'm talking about. So this is the first one, and this is the second one. I tried to unscrew it, I tried some heat, it didn't work for me, so I don't want to mess that screw up, so I made a mobile service appointment with Tesla, which I need to pay for. So this enclosure will go on top of the camera, which is over there, and yeah, it will look as good as an IM accessory. So the camera is designed to be installed this way. This is why they have this bracket on top of the camera. I will remove it because I don't need it anywhere underneath of my truck's bed. And I will install it into this enclosure on top of this bed cover, and I will get the perfect view this way, I think. Here's the bracket and here's the final installed piece, and it looks like this. I'll keep it this way, I just like how it looks. I finally installed the final piece, and I'll show you in a second how it looks and how I did everything that I did. And it took me a while. It took me about 3 to 4 days to figure out how to install all necessary things in a proper way, not to break anything critical, not to compromise any safety, not to do anything stupid, not to break any clips. I broke one. By far the most complicated part of this installation was in here, and I didn't expect it because, well, it looks easy, it looks like it has a lot of space in there, but in reality you need to adjust and coil your cables in a proper way so they will coil around that heat sink or whatever part is down here to avoid any interference with your GPS, because if you screwed up, your GPS will start working improperly. So make sure that you won't cover it and it goes around it. And as you can see, I don't have any cables around here. Everything is hidden in there because I didn't install the front-facing camera. I thought that it doesn't make any sense because I have Sentry anyway, and everything just got in there with no any problems, and I managed to close this thing. It took me a few hours to figure it out because I really wanted a clean installation without any wires sticking out. This is by far the most complicated part of this installation because after that you will move forward no matter what, and it will look like you are making some kind of progress, because before it looked like you are not doing anything and you are almost on the verge of breaking something, and it was really devastating for me at least to think, okay, if I break something, we don't even have a service center yet in Kelowna, and it was like, oh my god, what am I doing at all? So I was very nervous about it, but anyway, I managed to do that. This part here was extremely easy for me because you just need to route your cable on top of that white part that I showed you. It's black in the new versions of the Cybertruck, but anyways, the idea is the same. So you need to route it on top. You don't tackle your cable anywhere in the opening because those openings are made for the magnetic pins and for the clips, so you shouldn't cover them. But if you put it on top and keep it straight and put this thing back, it will snap back with no any issues at all. So it was extremely easy for me. I think it's just a matter of luck that I figured out, but I think this part is the easiest of this whole part of the car to install the mirror. After that, you simply take your cable and put it behind the stream, and it's very easy to work with. It's not sitting very snug in there, and you basically can move it with your fingers. So put it in there and route it down here. And when you come to this corner, you have two options actually. Either you can go along this way and route your cable here, which crosses your airbags anyway, or you can tuck it in there and catch it from another side, and this is what I've done, and I think this is the way to go. And either way, you are crossing the curtain airbag underneath, and this is one of the reasons why I made that appointment with Tesla, because I wanted to ask if it's fine if I cross the airbag with a cable. And I was told that it is most likely fine because the airbag is opening with such a strength that it will rip that cable off most likely anyway. So I mean, you can take it with a grain of salt, but this is exactly what I was told. And he said that it's not recommended to go over it because you can move the airbag from its dedicated position accidentally or rip it or something like that. So under is safer because you are basically not touching it. I don't know. After you do that, you can just grab the weather sealing and pull it down, and it's pretty easy to do, and your cable will be resting there. So you grab it from there, and now you have two options. Either you tuck it up under the weather sealing here, or you can route it through the B pillar itself, and it has an opening there, but you need a fishing tape. After that, you can just put this thing back and it will sit there properly as new. From here, after you get your cable out of this opening or you route it under this weather sealing, you need to decide where you want to get your camera installed. Either on top of the bed, which I did, and I think by far this is the best option, or you can install it somewhere around your plate. And I think it makes sense as well if you are towing and you need to see your hitch or something like that. But I think that the top of the Cybertruck is the way to go because it's higher, it's not getting dirty at all, and you have a better field of view. Let's say you want to install it around your plate. So this way you need to route your cable here, then down here, just tackle it under this part here, and you put it in this panel gap and it'll go down here, and then you need to remove this trim around your wheel this way and you just install it around your plate here. And honestly, I think this is the easiest way to install it, but I didn't want the easiest way, I wanted the cleanest and the most OEM looking way. So I decided to route my cable differently. And if you want to install your camera up there, as I did, which I think is the ideal position, you have a couple of options how to run your cable from here. Let me explain you how. Before you start working on routing your cable from the B pillar, you need to remove this piece here. And in theory, it's easy to remove because it has just two screws, one here, one here. Mine were Loctite and I didn't have tools. I tried to unscrew them, failed. I tried some heat, failed. So the Tesla technician helped me with removing this thing, and after that it's easy to remove. So the first time is hard, the second time is easy. But anyway, let's hope yours is not Loctite and you can remove it. So do that. The first option is to run it through the roof here. For that, you need to remove this trim from your B pillar, and it's pretty easy to remove. A couple of clips here. There is a bolt. You unscrew it and you take this whole piece off, and you will have an opening from this position where you can run your cable up here, and up there is a small lid that you can open and you can get your cable out of there. And the point is that this whole piece can be removed with a pry tool very easily, and you can run your cable down here and then naturally run it under this piece, and you will be led to the same situation that I have here. What I did was a little bit different, and you can choose either or, which is looking easier for you. So I ran my cable through this weather sealing and it came out here, and I hid it under this gasket, as you can see. After that, you need to remove this trim, and it's a little bit tricky. It has a couple of clips here and a clip here, so 3 clips. 2 of these are different from this one. This one is easy. 2 of these require some kind of tool looking like a screwdriver to detach them. But after you do that, you will have a little hole here through which you can run your cable and take it from here. After you run your cable here, you can hide all extensive wires behind this panel. Just coil it down, it will sit there just well, and then you run your cable underneath of this panel up here, and you pinch your wire with your camera and install your camera on top of your Cybertruck bed. Here I used a nanotape to hold everything in place, and I absolutely love this stuff. It's super solid. It will stay there forever, and it will hold this cable forever as well. Why I love this kind of tape is because it's temperature resistant, so not like a 3M tape which is coming off when it gets hot. This thing, it's not coming off at all until you need to pull it out, and it's damage free. You pull it out, it comes off. Until then, it just stays there basically forever. Absolutely love this product, and I highly recommend to use this instead of any 3M based tapes. Also, you could notice that the camera has some kind of cover, and this enclosure is not coming with that camera. It is 3D printed, and the 3D print is amazing. The design is amazing. It's not mine, but I'll put the link in the description down below. It is free. You can download it and print it, which I did. I printed it after and it looks pretty good on the Cybertruck. To install this enclosure, I would recommend to use the same kind of tape that I told you before, the nano tape. And it sits here incredibly well. Just shaking my truck and this thing doesn't have any movement whatsoever. And again, it doesn't matter either it's cold or hot or raining or anything, it will not come off. I think it's a good idea to test that thing out. And yeah, let's do that. It's not intentional test of the enclosure of the camera, but I just need to wash my truck. So I'm going to a car wash and it's but it's like brushed car wash. So it has a lot of brushes, spinning stuff and all that. If it sits there after that, it won't go anywhere. And this is approximately my point of view. And if I need to check what is going on behind me, just look here and I can see that there is a car behind me and well, everything is pretty clear. And yeah, I'm not looking here, I'm looking here. And this is very, very natural, and the mirror is very crisp. It's 1080p, it's not 4K, as many other YouTubers claimed. It's 1080p camera, but it is very crisp, and it supports HDR, so you can see sky, it's not blown out. Oh my god, what's going on? I think the car is smoking or something. The car is literally smoking. What is going on there? This is interesting.
Welcome to our car wash.
There we go. Okay, here we go. My biggest concern right now, hopefully you can hear me, but anyway, the biggest concern is that the brush will kick it off. If it doesn't, the installation is complete. Just take a look at that. We'll see. Okay, I now feel like a freaking dog who is excited about the car wash. Well, yeah, it's fun, car wash. Car wash is fun. Okay, yeah, it's there. No problem. I call it success. I call it success.
I've been using this electronic mirror for about a week, and I must say that this is an absolutely incredible product. It's a must-have. It's a shame that Tesla didn't come up with a similar solution in the first place, to be honest.
I absolutely love this accessory because it shows so many different things that are happening behind my vehicle, and I really appreciate it. And how I said, this accessory is important because of safety, first of all, because if you know what is going on behind, you can react just in time to solve any kind of complicated situation. You can control the view of this mirror, so you can look at the sky, or you can set the view as you want. You can look at what is going on in your bed. And I like to have my view this way when I see the upper side of my bed. And this way I can offset and understand a little bit better the distance between my truck and other cars behind. This is working for me, but you can do any view you want. Also, I like the fact that you can lower down and take a look at your bed. If you're carrying something, you can take a look at your load and see what is going on down there. So I can see my cargo bins here, I see the divider. Basically, I see my whole bed, and this is a view that you get out of this rear view screen, and it's amazing, really. Another important thing for you to know is that you can swipe between cameras like so. In my case, the front-facing camera is not installed, so it is showing me just a black screen and saying front camera, no signal. And you can turn it off because there is no point for this UI interface. You don't need to swipe to something that is not working from something that is working, so you can go to settings and then front camera, and you can turn it off and it will restart. And after it restarts, it turns off the front-facing camera in the interface, so you will have only the rear-facing camera. This way it doesn't swipe, so you have just this control, so you are not going to get confused or anything. Also, another thing that I like about this rear view camera is that it is filming constantly while you're driving, and you can use it as a dash cam. Although I think this feature is a little bit extensive because you already have a good dash cam system in your Tesla, but well, you have it still, so it's a good thing. But if you don't like to use it as an electronic rear view mirror for some reason, you can simply turn it off and use it as a regular rear view mirror.
So what do I think about this accessory? I generally love the product, but I absolutely hate the installation. I believe the rear view mirror is a necessary safety measure, at least for now. While FSD is progressing very quickly, user input isn't always a mistake. Would I recommend it? Well, yeah, I would, if you're sure that you can install it yourself. It's a great product with a miserable installation process. And that's it for today. Hope you liked the video, and thank you for your time.
You thought I was bluffing where you at? I came here for vengeance, watch your back.